So be prepared for about we'll hit
Yeah, it will hit you. So just just bear with us just momentarily.
every time
So, okay, hello EPT crew. This is TD and Train, my great co-host. He is here in the house tonight, and we have two awesome guests that I am glad is joining us this evening, and we are so excited to have our you both are our first guests. Just know when we reach 50 million views, that this will be our breakout guest host show. So you can say that you were here first when we're all big, and I hate to say Jada Pinkett famous. I don't want that. But before all the mess, how about that?
Yeah, definitely.
How about that? And I'm throwing a lot of shade in that as well. So, but thank you both for joining us. I know at the end of a long day, it's sometimes not the thing you want to do, but I appreciate you. We are relaxed EPT crew. We are here. We're going to have some fun. We're going to drink some drinks. We're going to tell some jokes, clean ones. Although we are experienced, we do still we look out for our youthful ears, right? Our virgin ears. So on that note, I want us all to introduce ourselves, and we will have how about this? How about I introduce myself first, and Train can go, and then Shay, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, and then Alex, we have saved the best for last. How about that? You like that? All right, so I am TD Campbell. I am your host. I have been in human resources for over 25 years. I currently do a number of things like freelance writing, as well as career coaching and planning and things of that nature. What do I like to do for fun? I think it's collect books. I'm pretty much a nerd, I would say. Can you still say nerd in 2023? Is anybody gonna be offended?
Nah,
no. I mean,
I don't care. Not right now. I don't care. It's nerd. I'm a nerd. I collect books, as you can see behind me.
It's a whole group that's a nerd now. So
yeah. Are we all nerds? I know I am. I make no excuses for my nerdiness. I love books, but I love doing this most of all. I love talking to cool people and learning as much as I can. And what we want to do here at EPT is we want to share things with the world that oftentimes as we're growing up isn't and hasn't been shared with us. And that's been a lot of Trains and I experience as we've grown up. We're in a different generation than the both of you, and we had actually got to talking about the types of things that weren't shared with us when we were younger that might be shared with younger generations. But there are a host of things that I wish my parents would have told me, but I don't think their parents told them. So that is what we want to do here on EPT, and that will range from topics about finances to relationship stuff. Train knows that I love to talk about the people stuff, the relationship stuff, because I'm all about people patterns and understanding people more, because I think everything is relationships at the end of the day, even work, good, bad, and different, right? So everything is about relationships. But there, we'll talk about finance and wills and trusts and things like that. Not right this second, unless it comes up as a topic, which we'll talk about soon. But that is why we have started EPT, to just kind of share with others who stumble upon us, maybe some things that people in their life didn't tell them, but maybe we can provide them with that information. So in that vein, think about that as we're going forward. And I will turn it over to Train.
I am just an old Army vet. I've been around a lot of different situations, all the way from being young and being out here, doing wild stuff, to, being in boardrooms and everything else. But, I've got a broad spectrum of things that I've done in my life. And I'm now trying to get to the point where I'm learning how to do things to take it easy. I'm trying to get to the point where I'm all I'm doing is I'm just trying to trade some stocks, getting the real estate, try to do that kind of stuff, getting the trust and different things like that. I'm trying to get to the point where I can get set up, and I can just lay on this foundation I've created. So that's my goal at this point. But I got a couple kids, a few kids. I got 5 all total, but I only made 3.
I mean, a couple kids.
But yeah, married into a blended family, so I got that experience. It's a lot of things that that we take for granted. It's a lot of things that we take for granted out here that we just don't. We just expect people to know. Like, people with no kids, they have no idea what life is like with kids. That kind of thing. And we just expect them to know certain things, and then when you think like us, so it's just a lot of different experiences that I realized that we have, and that's what made me say, okay, yeah, this is cool. I think we can do this. Because it's just a lot of information that we picked up along the way, and it's really helpful. even, we've helped each other with quite a few things. So that's when we started realizing, like, we gotta go ahead and just try something, see what's going on out here.
It's out here in these social media streets. So Shay,
right.
You share?
So I'm Shay. I am 41. So I don't know if I'm really millennial or kind of like, closer. Not, I think, but that's neither here nor there. I've been in Atlanta for about 11 years now. And I started out on the dating scene and, just trying to see what it had to offer. I started a blog called No Food Free. Kind of explain my experience. It was very different coming from a small town and moving here. And, I have a lot of different paths that I've taken. I'm a single mom. Well, I was a single mom. I had my daughter at 18. So I had that single mom, teenage mom experience, to going to college, to trying to figure out a career path, to take the best care of my daughter that I could, to being married. A whole host of experiences that, I would love to share to help, my younger sisters, my younger brothers, to maybe not experience some of the things that I've experienced. I'm always up for talking about it. So I'm really excited to be here. And I can't wait to engage. We have to talk about it.
Sorry, was I supposed to clap? I'm very excited. I'm sorry, I can't contain myself. So my apologies. So thank you, Shay. I so appreciate you. And Alex, you're
yes. So my name is Alex Myers. I'm a legacy, so my suffix is the second. My pronouns are kidding. But yes, I've been in Atlanta now for 12 years. I'm an operations VP. I put that because I thought we were all putting stuff, so I don't want to seem like that guy who's like, here's my part.
But
at the end of the day, that's my perfect.
I'm glad you did that, actually. Yeah.
Look, life, your habits will put you in a spot to where life will put you where you're supposed to be, right? So it's like, hey, I've been a VP since I was born, but on some boss baby shit. But I'm one of 8. I'm the firstborn son from my family, and I definitely have just tried to honestly live my life in a way to where I could leave a legacy to where my son is proud of me, my mom and my pops are proud of me. Military brat, so definitely want to say thank you for your service. Because Lord knows I would have so much less freedom if I had to fight for my own. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
And to let Shay know, since we are from the greatest generation, we are 80s babies. You are one of us.
Wait a minute. Okay, go ahead with that. I'm gonna let you have that for right now. But okay.
It is what it is. You said I can have this for. I'm gonna let you finish.
Okay.
And Shay, I might need you to get a little closer to the mic because I lost.
Oh yeah,
I lost a couple words that you said.
Okay.
But yes, I'm a proud father, dating with the intentions of marriage. So I'm an aspiring husband. And just happy to be in a stage in life to where I literally am old enough to know better, but still young enough to do something about it. And so, finance double degree holder, Georgia State Panther for life. So if you guys want to talk about pretty much anything, I've definitely learned in life it doesn't have to be my answer to be the right answer. That a lot of things, like, you don't know what you don't know, and so be okay with stupid questions. So please understand, I will absolutely fill up the stupid question quota for our hour. I've got so many things that I would love to learn. And there's not too much that I think that I know that I have that I'm not willing to share or to give, because the human experience is about sharing. So I'm glad to be here and glad to help.
Appreciate
you. See, every time I talk to Alex, he just unloads all this knowledge.
I already got tons of questions
from the second best generation of.
I already got tons of questions.
Yeah. Oh, we got questions for days. But in lieu of the questions, so let's get to hot topics. I thought this would be, and we can actually, we can pivot to. I'm good at pivoting. So if we want to pivot to where we ask each other questions that we might have, as experienced people, what questions do you guys have? And we can ask you guys questions about what the hell is going on in 2023 from a millennial perspective, because sometimes I try to keep up.
I don't think they're young enough. To realize.
I don't know. But you guys have that. You still have that experience, right? Because you're 80s babies, don't you?
Look, my knees hurt right now. It's gonna rain tomorrow.
Well, this isn't about bodily function.
They're not that young.
You're not that young. Okay, all right. Is that what you're saying?
I got a bad hip. I can't go out there and run with these boys no more. I don't know.
I only have a bad hip, but okay.
I need to get my daughter on there for that age.
Okay. I mean, but you guys are millennials, though. You're technically identified as millennials, all right? It's that 38. I think that 38 to 40 type of range or whatever. So, all right, we'll figure it out. Don't worry.
I think you get to judge it off of how many Michael Jackson skin colors you got to see, or how many nose jobs you survived.
That's one thing.
Wait a minute. Did you can identify?
I agree. So I was about to say something like that. This is gonna be one of my questions. I was gonna ask everybody. So does everybody remember their first horror movie? The first horror movie you ever saw, and it was a true horror movie.
Oh, I remember the one that had the biggest effect on me.
Okay, that too. So the very first one though, they had the most major effect on me. All right. So if you remember that, what movie was it for you, Alex?
For me, it was Arachnophobia.
Arachnophobia.
I think that was like 1992, 93.
Yeah, I remember when. Okay, so that's what I'm basing my picture on. Okay,
I'm telling you, like it was one of them joints where like I was sent to my room to go to sleep, and I came downstairs, lights off. You know how it's the big back TV, and you know I don't know what I was trying to do. I was probably trying to sneak a sip of somebody's Coke or something, and all I saw was spiders crawling all over the walls and stuff. And we lived in Florida at the time, so not only did you get spiders, you get the daddy long leg joints, and we would get water bugs, right, or roaches. For those who don't know what water, I hate the debate of like it's a water. No, it's a roach. They are.
It's a roach. Period.
I'm not Bill Nye.
I don't need a category.
They're big roaches and little roaches.
Roaches are roaches. You can call it Carl, you can call it Fred or Will. That's a damn roach. And I know one attracts the next one, right? So I didn't understand the circle of life of any of them. But if I ever saw a spider, I swear on my mama, I would legit run, hide, cry, quick, fast, in a hurry. I don't do scary movies though. Like I'm still kind of scared of Scar from The Lion King.
We're not laughing at you, but maybe we are.
But see, people that don't even do scary movies, they remember the first one that made them not do scary movies.
You know,
so that's why.
So when I meet people who are like my son is like that. My son's 14, and for the most part, like you know, as a dad or as a parent, you know who your kids are. And for the most part, my kids are punk. But when it comes to scary movies, though, he's hyper logical. He's like, oh yeah, no, there's no way if you got stabbed in this artery, it would bleed that much. That's fake. I'm like, yeah, you're a psycho, and I will snitch. If there's ever a thing, if there's a reward,
you go rat your kids out.
I'm gonna put some money on your books, bro. But I kind of look out for
that. I'm not putting no money in your books.
I want the kid eating top ramen. I want to eat top ramen when he's put away. But you know, at the end of the day, he's not gonna Michael Myers me. No.
Right.
Yeah, you're not about to get the one up on me. No, it ain't going.
You're not. I mean, you know, because these kids, like the Menendez brothers, are like role models. Yeah. So you know.
Yeah, and not just
like, can I get this game? I'll be like, I don't know, where you at? Let me check your spot on my iPhone real quick. Yeah, you can have it. That's cool.
Right. What about you, Shay?
Oh, it was one of those Freddy Krueger movies. What are those? Friday the 13th?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
Freddy Krueger's Nightmare on
Elm Street.
Well, that
Friday the 13th from Jason.
Jason.
Yeah. Jason is Friday the 13th.
And I remember the
waterbed. She said the waterbed part. Yep.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
The waterbed scene.
Yeah.
She kind of went up in the air, and all the water was like coming out, and his claws were in her, and I was like, "Yep, it's a wrap."
And then all the blood came out.
Yeah.
That was like,
yeah.
It was horrible. I had to check under my bed every night. I couldn't sleep in the middle of the bed. I had to sleep like on the edge of the bed, just in case. Like it was a whole thing.
What was that? What year was that? Like 90?
It was early.
It was like 91, 90.
It was early 90s for sure.
That one might have been like 89. Matter of fact, I don't know.
How much hair did Jada Pinkett have then?
I don't know. She wasn't acting then.
She was acting then. She was acting
in 1989.
She was acting.
I don't know if
she was
acting.
Doing something. Yeah, she was acting.
Interesting. Okay. You want me to go last? I can go last. I'm the host. Since it's your question. Okay. For me, it was Jonestown, which actually happened. I was 10 years old, and the document. Well, I was probably younger than 10 actually when I saw the documentary. Do you guys know the story of Jonestown? Okay, well in Jonestown in Guyana, you don't know the story? So Jim Jones was a prominent minister, and don't get me started with where he was located, but he was a very prominent Caucasian minister who had a congregation full of African Americans, and at some point he just got really big, and I think he just got really drunk with power, and so he started this kind of mass exodus to Guyana. Where he was just like, with all his parishioners, hey, we're going to create a utopia, essentially, is what he was kind of convincing people about. And for a while, it seemed like a utopia. It seemed like everything was going great. They were literally farming their own. They were coming up with their own crops. They were farming their own lands. They were building things themselves. They were really becoming a self-sufficient community. But what was really happening, though, is that it was a cult. And many parents and siblings were, petitioning the U.S. government because they had gone out of the country. So that they were petitioning the U.S. government to go in and do something that these people were being held hostage and the whole 9 yards. So long story short, a senator along with the senator's staff and what have you had come to Guyana to see the compound. And for the most part, things were going well. When the senator arrived, but what was happening was everything was kind of under wraps. That before the senator got there was all this kind of churn from Jim Jones that this is happening, and he had henchmen, and so the people were literally forced to say great things, right? So what ended up happening, long story short, you can go watch the documentary. It's all over YouTube. You can watch the movie as well. But the senator, they killed the senator. They killed the senator. He came in on a plane. They killed the senator and killed a bunch of other people. And when Jim Jones had gotten word that the senator had been killed, essentially assassinated, he started this, hey, it's time for us to, long story, pretty much, and I don't know the exact words, but long story short, he pretty much said it's time for us all to die. So whenever you hear the term "don't drink the Kool-Aid," it came from Jim Jones, literally, because that's what they drank. They drank Kool-Aid to with strict. I think it had come again.
The mass suicide.
Yeah, the mass. It was the mass suicide, and the Kool-Aid had what is that poison again? Cyanide. It had cyanide in it, and their babies and the views. When you watch these documentaries, even when you watch the movie shows you all the real footage. Right. It doesn't really, the documentary doesn't cut corners at all, but the movie doesn't either when it tries to get the real footage, because so much footage was taken around that time when they found out that these people had all committed, pretty much murdered, essentially, because the people that did not voluntarily take the cyanide were shot. And Jim Jones ended up killing himself. So I say all that to say, my mother told me not to watch this. Again, I was very young. I lived in Carper Apartments. It was a Navy housing. And I had a TV in my room for the first time. And I was big and bad. And I was going to defy everything. And I can watch this. This is no big deal to me. Didn't really realize that as I was watching it, that this was a true story, right? Until the very end, when it talked about it being a true story. And as a 10-year-old, or however old I was young, it scared the living crap out of me. And I don't know why, but till this very day, since and Train, thank you for asking this question, because I think it gave me some insight into me. I know why I love stupid, scary movies. Like I'm with Alex's son on like the kind of overreaching that they do in these horror movies with the blood, like in Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm like, ain't no way in hell all that blood coming from. I know there's no such thing as monsters. I don't like the horror stories that are based on true things. Like there's one horror story that's kind of like a demonic, and I used to be into all of that, the demonic horror stories, the cult classics, but now I'm kind of the demonic ones mess with my spirit too bad, so I don't watch those anymore. Like the Insidious was stupid. I could do movie reviews all day, but some of the more kind of visceral ones that sit in your head that were actually based on true stories, those I don't watch those anymore. But horror movies, I love them. And Shay'll tell you, I love the Friday the 13th. I love I love stupid horror movies the best. I'm a Tubi fan. Just FYI, I'm putting it out there.
Oh, not a Tubi fan.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, I love. Listen, the best B movie of all time. Go look it up on YouTube, because nobody will play it anywhere on any streaming platform, I don't think. Is Rabid Grannies. Okay, go watch Rabid Grannies. Okay, go watch this movie.
Have you ever played Mad Libs, where you just say a word and you throw it in a sentence?
Yes,
that's what they did.
That is most definitely what they did. And you know what? You are showing your age by talking about Mad Libs, because I had a flashback. It was like the only game.
I need it now. Rabid. No.
Yeah, no, only has a little book. You fill in the blank. And all
we used to behave ourselves all week so we could get the Mad Libs. Now I used to, hey, y'all better shut up.
Right. I think that's why my vocabulary is so wide now, because of ad libs. We look at things. But yeah, Jonestown was definitely my movie. It shaped me. It molded me. You go.
So I was gonna say Poltergeist, but Poltergeist was way too big, and I think other generations got a hold to it too. So I'm gonna go back to the original, like the one that really, really shook me was Jaws, because I was like, man, it made me not want to get in water no more ever again.
Yeah.
Was that a horror movie though? Jaws is a horror.
What? Did you not see what that shark did?
What?
Science fiction. Is that horror? I don't know.
No. The sharks was really doing that to people, but it was like it wasn't as dramatic. That's all. But sharks is really out here killing people, eating people, and cutting and biting people, and limbs off and stuff. I mean, at least that much.
You can see it all the time.
Right. It made me keep away from the middle of the water.
Okay, wait a minute. You're a veteran. Do you know how to swim?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay. Do you not like the water or no?
I've been in the ocean plenty of times in my life and all of that, but it's just always a thought in my head, especially when they started doing those news reports talking about the sharks are getting closer to the coast.
Oh yeah.
Because they say because of global warming, but it could be so many things. They started to get close to the coast, and you start noticing people getting bit closer to the coast, like people just playing in the water.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Cool.
These animals.
Yeah, and you can't really fight in the water. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to fight in the water. It's hard to fight in the water.
I tried.
It's hard to fight. That's something that's made.
It is something to think about it.
I've never thought about.
Have you ever thought about being in water that you can't stand up in? Water that you can't.
Well, that's the point.
I don't think they was fighting near the water at that Alabama draw thing a couple months ago.
Hey, I would love to have a chair against a shark now. That might help you out.
Hey, you got a folding chair. I'll see Jaws, Nemo. I'll take them all on. If you give me 2 folding chairs, and some Rocky Miles, I'll see you.
I don't know Jaws gonna care anything about the chair though. I don't know about that.
You're gonna take one smoke break, and I'm
gonna do some work with that chair. I'm gonna do some work with that chair. I don't care if I'm sinking underwater. I'm gonna do some work with that chair.
Oh no. So by show of hands, How many of us still do not or don't like horror movies? Just by show of hands. Like, won't watch them.
Don't like horror movies.
Or won't watch horror movies.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. So just Shane and I we're the courageous ones. Is that?
Yeah. So
I don't know if I would call it courageous, but
so y'all a punk ass generation is what you're saying. Is that
see, you got it. What my mama told me was the way you feed your soul is through your eyes. So I don't want to normalize violence. And I don't want to make fun of what the devil can do with these satanic, because the industry, they be sneaking shit in there. They're like, oh no, just have a little bit of goat's blood with your popcorn. I'm good. Not gonna happen. Right. They're like, what is this? It's Mountain Dew goat's blood. It's just a special edition for Poltergeist this year. Fuck that shit. I'm going straight to church after this.
Mountain Dew goat's blood.
Look, I'm telling you right now, they got to get a sponsor because they ain't gonna pay for it. And on God, they'll be like, would you like some holy water with that? Yeah, I'll take 2 servings as long as it's not the sign of your deer park.
That is a very, very good point. That's a good point. We're still the more courageous generation, though. We're not as scary as young people.
You hear a noise, you go that's the see, the millennials, we figured that out. We was the hey, just run. Y'all stayed and y'all fought them dogs and got sprayed and all that. We ain't doing none of that.
No, wait a minute. Hold on, time out. We didn't fight no dog. Yeah, right. Those are baby boomers. We ain't that generation. I ain't never. Wait a minute.
I go back to Tupac.
I go back to Tupac.
No, yeah.
You said Tupac.
I've been sprayed by no. Yeah, that's not our generation.
Oh, it was drink from the water hose was the generation.
I missed it.
Drinking from the water hose.
I'm in the generation. I drank.
We drank from the water hose, and I sprayed by the water hose.
I ain't just sprayed by the hose.
I wonder if that was a trauma response from the parents though after getting sprayed. Now the kids drinking from.
Well, no, because we couldn't go. Listen, when you were, and I don't know, Training's from North Carolina, so I'm from Virginia, so we're both on the same side of the country, right? So when you were our age, when you were out of the house, you had to stay out the house, or when you came in the house, you was gonna be in the house. So there was nothing in the house for us because if you didn't have cable, and cable didn't come out till later, right? So if you did, all you had was these channels where nothing ever came on, when we got home from school. So you stayed out the house. So you didn't go in the house for water.
No internet.
You went to the side of the house. No.
I think we had the best.
No computers. We didn't even have computers yet.
No.
I think Shay and I had the best of it. Like, honest to God, because like, I don't know how old you were when cell phones and stuff. Like, I got to get my mama's her pager and her beeper right before those things went out. Then I started getting cell phones when like it was PrimeCo and all that stuff. It's a good time. Like, I literally marvel at it because like my folks now that they do rock with technology because you don't really have a choice, they still don't use it properly. So like my dad will get like a $2,000 camera and still like get closer to you to get. But I'm certain there's a Zoom, sir. Like I know there's got to be a button for something, but they don't know what they don't know. And I think it's really, really cool that like a lot of the stuff that like when I was little and I was made fun of like the way that I thought of the world or saw the world, that folks are out here, they're smart enough to figure it out. And they just make the world like how it is. You walk into your house, as soon as your cell phone's notified, it goes to the right temperature. It might brew you some tea. Your TV turns on. Your air fryer starts making your chicken tenders because who's too old for chicken tenders? Not me.
Not me.
That's who.
I love chicken tenders. I love them.
A little BBQ on the side. Hit
right,
me up. Yeah, I'm Elroy Jetson over here. I'm living my life. It's a good time.
Yeah.
You're really dating yourself.
Yeah.
Not Elroy Jetson.
Nah, we are on that Elroy Jetson stuff right now. We are.
I'm just saying.
Oh, most definitely.
The only thing we don't have is the flying car. I'm sorry.
I think they just patented the stuff. They showed it the Detroit car show.
Yeah, I'm like,
give it a second. But if it's anything like the traffic in Atlanta, they probably can't drive up there anymore. They can down here.
It's gonna be bad. Regardless of whatever, Atlanta traffic is going to traffic.
Forever trash. Yes.
Yeah, forever. It's the worst. For life. Shay, any words? Any got anything to add or?
No. I mean, I will say that I remember. So I'm a little older than him, so I remember like the big car phones. Y'all remember those?
Bag phones.
The bag. Yeah, you put it in the car. Like, yeah, we had those. And then
Motorola, I think.
Yeah, I really felt like my
mom.
They
had a couple brands.
Yeah.
You mean with the bag drink?
The one
I seen one of them in like the Hypnotized video with P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
The whole one, it looked like a whole big purse.
Like a little bag. Like one of these.
Yeah. That cost about $5 million.
Yeah, and then folks were like, "How'd I get a tumor on my hip? You had a goddamn car battery with you all day."
No, that's right.
Kept in the car mostly. Didn't really carry it around.
How else are you going look if they was anything like they are now? How else you gonna flex if you keep it in the car?
Right. But wasn't that the flex?
Like wine going down.
I don't know.
The
generation behind us.
Not the drug dealers I know. Drug dealers I do, they had their car. I mean, they had their phone in the car, like right there.
You had that. Look, I miss the Frank Lucas drug dealers, the ones who was like, hey, out here just keep it chill. We're gonna hand out some turkeys on Thanksgiving. We good. Yeah. Like, we don't got to do all this.
Yeah, we did more and more talking. I noticed. Notice how that happened.
Yeah. What's that? What?
Everything, not drugs. Yeah. I mean, we went from everybody. You do everything in silence. Right. We went from that to You tell all your business now. I killed this dude yesterday. I'm just saying, you know, it's in a song.
So generationally,
yesterday though.
I think it's because like generationally, our folks like you go back ages, and them cats had to do everything in silence so massa wouldn't find out.
Yeah.
And so it's like, man, I'm gonna raise my kids to have the courageousness or whatever it is, the bravado. Whatever I'm gonna do, I'm gonna own it. And like I think what happened, what we failed to see was we kept talking and we stopped doing. And so now you got all these folks when shit pops off, oh, free Palestine, or you know, whether it be like a Trayvon Martin, whatever the movement of the day is, the movement of the month. But we ain't doing shit. And we got real good at talking.
Yeah.
Nobody busts a move. Like I miss the Frank Lucas types. Hey, all right, what he said what?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, at least the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying?
But,
we all go.
But look, when we all held down our own block, it was one of those things where if my block was, it was either my block or my home.
Right.
And it didn't make a difference if it was a man or a woman, made no difference. Because those women were just as bad as those dudes. You couldn't mess with none of them. But they got us talking now. They got us talking, but we ain't really moving.
So, you know, Alex, this actually, and obviously we pivoted, right? Which I like, right? This is because this is good. This is natural and organic. But you actually, I want to pose a question to everybody, because you pose something that I have struggled with all the time, every time the movement changes, right? Because the movement changes on a dime. And I think Dave Chappelle even, he said it kind of best, that we are so desensitized these days, because like when he was talking about mass shootings, when he said that they happen so often that you don't even know what to care about anymore. It's like you know, all we do is send up prayers and, you know, so on and so forth. And I get angrier and angrier because it's like, I don't see us when it comes to us. We don't do anything anymore. And it didn't, that whole juxtaposition of what used to happen when we were during the Frank Lucas era, right? When you had the criminals who were actually feeding the people, which is, you know, what made them part of the community. But now there's just there's such a disarray of, you know, of what's right and wrong, and who I should listen to and who I shouldn't listen to, and what can I do to do this? Everybody's saying something different. And I'm over here saying, okay, well, you know, you complain about this, but what are you doing about it? And I say little things like, you know, whenever I get on the blogs, like if the issue of the day is about, and I'll just throw it out there because it's a hot topic, Jada Pinkett Smith, right? So everybody is hating on her. Everybody. I've seen men, women, everybody just hating on her because she is essentially speaking her truth, right? As Will did with his book, as you know, they tend to do at these table talks or whatever, right? And the one thing I'm noticing is that people are really just laying into her, but nobody lays into him. And it just seems to be kind of a movement of this is what everybody else is saying, so let me go ahead and follow along. And some of the comments I always say that I've said in the past few days is, first of all, these two people are married, and these are rich people problems. And at the end of the day, don't tell me that you have a good understanding of what she's saying or what she means, and you feel bad for Will Smith thinking that he doesn't know what's in this book. Okay, first of all, he had to sign off on it. I'm sorry, she did not do this covertly. I can guarantee you that, because she doesn't want to get sued, any of that. So, but married people, you know, the only two people who know what's going on in a marriage are those two people. I've been married. I've seen the toxic relationships that married people can have with themselves and with others. So people never genuinely know what's going on, but everybody has a voice and everybody has something to say. And I say all that to say that when you're thinking about what you can do to kind of not be part of the problem, because that's what I'm always focused on now. How can I not be part of the problem? Right? I know what's going on, but what can I do? I say things like, why are you even posting this? If you're not advocating for one or the other, or if you're not advocating for divorce or violence, or why post videos of people fighting? And this is what people don't understand. They think they're doing something. Why? I hate reality television. I hate more specifically, I hate reality housewife TV, because it's foolish. It's ridiculous. It started off as one thing and it turned into something completely crass. And even more for me as a Black woman, the image that the world who doesn't know a lot of Black women have of us is predicated on a lot of these reality TV shows. I've had people approach me in the wrong way, thinking that it was okay because this is what they thought Black women were supposed to do. So I try not to make a situation worse. So I say all of that to ask everyone. This is a question I'm posing. What can we do to not be part of the problem? And maybe the follow-up to that, to help fix the problem. Is that a clear question? Clear?
Yeah.
You want to go, Alex? You go.
So, ironically enough, I was having a conversation with my woman about this just the other day, right? Because being in positions of leadership, you're expected, like, right, when things go well, it's congratulations to everyone else. When things go poorly, not so much, right? And when you condition people to accept that or to think that way, then people sometimes can be in a headspace to where they're not necessarily challenging themselves to grow, or challenge themselves to take accountability for what they are capable of doing and operating in their purpose, right? So applying that to life in general, as far as like seeing people who are very comfortable necessarily possibly judging the situation, but not necessarily getting involved. It's funny because I ran across a story. So like I shared this with her, I'm gonna share it with you guys, right? So a man sees a snake being burned to death in a fire. And so when he sees that the snake is in pain, he drops everything and he reaches for the snake. The snake bites him. Someone who was watching the man saw the snake bite him as he then scrambles to find a stick to save the snake out of the fire. And he asked, when that snake bit you, why are you still trying to save it? And the man replied, the nature of the snake is to bite. but that's not going to change my nature to help. Right. And so essentially what I say that for is because like, you can't let things around you, like the circumstances around you, dictate who you are. Right. So like I meet people, I talk to folks in every avenue of life. And sometimes they're like, hey, if it wasn't for it being this way, like I'm just trying to condition myself to what it's like to be growing up in this day and age, or what it's like to be dating in this day and age. No, I'm going to do what I was going to do. If I was going to be a flaky Atlanta dater, I was going to be a flaky Atlanta dater in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2022, pick a year, right? If I was going to be a stand-up dude, I was going to be a stand-up dude. And so like you have to be the change you want to see, even if you look stupid, because at the end of the day, like I'm okay with looking dumb to just about anybody but myself. I refuse to be on that like deathbed type tip towards like, hey man, like I could have done something today. I could have done something that year, that month, whatever it is. Because 9 times out of 10, it takes one person to be like, hey, look, I don't give a fuck what y'all are.
Yeah.
I'm not with it. And like with the Will and Jada stuff, like it's so sad because I feel like a lot of that stuff, that the reality TV, social media in general, the way the media operates, they've continuously tried to normalize and like denigrate things that have brought specifically the Black community value. So it's like, cool. The Black family, we're gonna make that shit look crazy. The Black woman, we're going to pay her to make herself look crazy. The Black marriage, the Black family establishment, the head of the household, we're gonna make sure the dude look crazy. We're gonna have the ladies looking crazy. And on top of that, if you don't accept it, embrace it, endorse it, regurgitate the stuff, we're gonna try to make you seem like you're aged out. Like I'm 38 years old, right? The generation that I'm supposed to be teaching behind me, since I don't say my booty hole brown when the shit come on, they act like they're too cool for school. But like what bugs me out for real is in a blink, they'll have their student loans. I'll still be hiring. And they'll be put into life situations where they are forced to either learn or just be really old ass children. Because like success is on the other side of adapting your habits. When you're no longer a child, you put aside childish things. And like the older I get, the more I understand why all these cliches, these old head sayings, they last because they make so much sense. You can't put yourself in a headspace to where like it's nobody's fault. And that's the other thing about it. Like they've got us so conditioned to where like, hey, Jada said something. Let's feel bad for Will and everybody say screw Jada, right? Will said something. Will's a simp. Everybody, let's applaud Jada for being liberated. Whatever damn track you want to go. But back in the day, literally, it didn't leave your house. Hell, it damn near left your bedroom.
Right.
I've got friends who legit, they be like, oh man, like my parents got divorced after we got out of the house. I never even heard them fight once.
Is that a good thing? Because then you don't learn the balance, right? You don't learn the balance of.
They did the best with what they had.
Healthy, like there's normal fighting, normal healthy, and so. But yeah, everything else is
I won't disagree with what you're saying, Shay, but I'll say this: like, we're as a community, in my opinion, we're still learning what healthy is because our standards of what it is based off of other people's shit, right? And so you got to be mindful. Like the people, like for example, I've been in therapy now. I'm 38. I've been in therapy on and off for 8 years, right? Mostly on though, for the sake of everyone who knows me, right? But with that being said, there is a certain degree that I have to be mindful that like that relationship with the therapist is based off his relationship or her relationship with their education, and the educators may not be giving them something that might necessarily fit my experience or my needs, because the master will never let you use their tools to disassemble their house, right? It's not going to happen. So like to a certain extent, yes, I have to educate and empower myself to understand that. But at the stage that I'm at now, right, at some point in time, eventually it becomes, okay, cool. I get to pick what normal or healthy is. And I have to be very responsible and consistent about what exactly is my true north for that. So yeah, it's normal to me to be like, I was just talking to my woman about this. Is it normal for me to be annoyed by someone who's trying to annoy me? Or to be upset with someone who's trying to upset me? Is it normal for me to lash out occasionally, whatever it is, right? Is it normal for me to go through any of this stuff? Because like, if you think about it, everything around me is normalized to be toxic. So is it normal if you put toxicity in to get toxicity out? Right? I'm not trying to get you into a cult. Don't drink the Kool-Aid if you don't want it. It's really okay. However,
yeah, quick you picked up on that.
I am challenging the idea or the thought process that like, not seeing our folks fight was abnormal. I'm not saying that it isn't, like either side is fine, because yeah, your kids are supposed to learn those life skills and how to love and all that stuff from you. However, some things aren't for children. Like it's very, I know kids who are their parents' best friends, right? Yeah. And I say that like I'm not kids, like I'm somebody's kid. My mom's gonna be mad when she sees this, but it is what it is, right? So I know folks who are like, oh yeah, no, me and my mom go to the club. I've been to clubs in Atlanta where you're like, oh damn, you out here with your mom? That is awkward. I've been at the tattoo shop and somebody be like, oh yeah, no, I'm here with my mama. She signed the paperwork. I'm a sophomore, and not at Spelman. Like we talking about it, Cedar Grove. You know what I mean? Like it's much. And then there's folks who like they could be getting foreclosed on, and the kids don't know how to balance a checkbook. Yeah, there's balance, right? However, they doing the best they can with what they have. I'm still learning that I was watching my parents grow up while I was growing up, which is wild, you know. And so, like, as much as I love therapists and I love the profession, I love the purpose, I love the conversation. We got to be really mindful of and keep our finger on the pulse of reality. Like, they don't want. It has never been more clear to me my whole life. They don't want us to win, and they've put little tricks, traps, and booby traps in every single things that you wouldn't think that they thought about. There's so many levels to this shit. Because once you get the mind, and so they've always kept their focus on keeping the Black community, the Black diaspora, focused on the shit that's not productive. They got us talking, but we ain't walking. We ain't going nowhere. We jogging in place.
Yeah.
But what is your solution or your your thoughts on what should be done though? Like what kind of things should we be trying to do?
My headspace on it, sincerely, you got to challenge yourself to a point if you're not uncomfortable, right? So like I've had, and it's bugs, I'm only 38. And I say that because like sometimes I forget that I'm young, but I'm not, right? But I've had years, and I'm certain you guys can relate because we're all successful here, right? I've had years where I've done inside of a month what folks I've seen do inside of a year because I'm just after it. Yeah. Right? And most of us get after it once we find our purpose and what we're comfortable at because we're good at it. I'm learning how to break through the new shit because I'm getting after it, the shit that I suck at. So I want to have all the uncomfortable conversations. I want to learn how to do healthy confrontation. I've had to learn how to be softer with my son. And it's been bugs. Like I haven't put my hands on that kid. The boy is 14. I haven't put my hands on that kid in 8 years. I haven't whooped him since he was 6 because he can talk back. So we can have a conversation about what the hell were you thinking?
You don't jump at him. You don't do nothing.
I don't know because you got 5, so I don't know if you can relate. Because I was this kid, so I know that my son is me to the 10x. Sometimes I was this kid, my son is this kid. Between the hey man, we're gonna have to get into it. That question right there will get his voice shaking, right? Yeah. So I already got the puberty shakes out. And the other thing that all I have to hit him with is like, hey man, like sincerely, I expected more. Like I'm just disappointed. I was the kid who go run into the room crying, journal, pray to God, like I'm so sorry. Because the weight of it, like, and I get it. I'm a second. I've been doing okay. I'm all right out here. My son's a third, and everywhere he goes, he looks like me. He sounds like me. He thinks like me. So like, I literally have to get him to understand, like, hey, bro, like, but it's a humbling experience. I suck, and I don't suck like, hey, I'm the worst person ever, but like, I suck because I promise you, if you could take half of what I'm teaching you and apply a quarter of it, you're gonna go 100 times further than me, and I'm gonna be the first one there to celebrate you. But in order to like really get that, I've had to identify anything that does suck in him is because of me, because he learned it from me, because he saw what I do. He never heard what I said. He just sees how I move. So like the solution, in my opinion, is to take ownership and accountability of yourself, your house, like your tribe. So like my son knows, like I'm so proud of that kid. I've seen my son in situations where like somebody might be nutting up. He will literally get up and move his chair because like, hey man, like I can think my way through a solution. And I know y'all might do that over here. Like, cause we okay. We living in the suburbs. We got the white kids yelling at their mom like, fuck you. And you know, we need more pizza rolls. We don't do that over here, bro.
No. Not at all. We would all be on the board.
I was about to say, you got to own some boxing gloves. I mean, just have them just sitting up in a box somewhere, just over the corner, just wait.
Not even that. Look, on some report card day, I'm running the first 48 marathon. Just Tommy. Let me see what you come home with. I got 2 days, bro. I got 2 days in the passport.
You instill fear. I remember the first time I told my son I was disappointed in him. And like you, Alex, I think because he was so used to his father making him box. Right. So that's what he was used to. That's his dad was not, very, he didn't have those types of skills. That's not how he grew up. Right. But so for him, everything was very physical. But when the first time I told my son, and I just looked at him and I said, Kyle, I'm just disappointed. I'm not. And I said it very gently. I said, Mommy's not angry. I'm just really disappointed. And I went into why I was disappointed. And he was old enough to get that I was very unhappy and that my mood had changed without really understanding what just happened. Why isn't she screaming? Why isn't she yelling? Why isn't she like my dad? Why isn't she taking me out the box? And I just told him, I said, I need you to understand how what you do affects everything around you and your future and all of that. And when you one of the things I said to him when he was 16, I said, you need to learn how to make decisions you can come back from. And when you start making decisions that you can't turn around, like babies and crime, and you can be better, you can grow, as long as you're not dead, you can, get better. But at the end of the day, the decision has been made and it can't be undone. So my guidance to him was always consciously think about how what you're doing impacts not just you, because you're not, you're not an island by yourself. You're in
that, when you're a young man, it feels that way because like legit, you don't have like therapy. Like I can't speak for Train or Shay, but like therapy is something that all together in our communities still becoming more normalized, right? So we're still starting to get used to the idea of like, hey, we need to talk about it. But then like, and I don't mean to like pander, but like as a man, in my life experiences, being a man is like one of those things to where like when I speak to women my age, the only women my age that understand what it's like to be a man are the ones who have sons. Once you have a son, it softens women because like it's one of those things where it's like, oh man, the world is going to be like this for this kid who I love with all my heart. But this nigga over here though, I got no patience for. But this one right here, and it's one of those things where like as a man, like the idea of disappointing someone when you're already trained and raised and conditioned to think that your value comes from the things that you can do for somebody, whether it be protecting, whether it be providing, whether it be like being able to articulate or execute an idea. Like you don't get value from the idea of just existing. Like for most young men, it's not that way.
And not even with your words. Like you can have the wisest words, you can have the most knowledge, you can give all the best information, all of that. That still isn't enough for anybody.
Especially growing up. Like I've been articulate and relatively well spoken my whole life.
Yeah.
In my earlier years, like 16 through 28, I was lame as fuck. I've been the same person, right? But you maintain a decent credit score, you keep your body weight down enough. I'm in my late 30s now. My woman's gorgeous and she's hardworking and she's well spoken and she's all these things. I could not have dated a woman like the one I'm dating now. Wouldn't have even looked at me in high school, right? And that's super okay. I don't think I was ready, and my pullout game was weak. It is what it is, right?
We say get relaxed. Alex got relaxed. I'm learning so much.
But just to keep it 100 though, a lot of young men, they don't recover from that ugly duckling, right? They don't, because there is no, once you leave your mama house, there isn't necessarily somebody who knows how to love healthy who's going to tell you that you're valuable. They're going to tell you like, hey, look, man, I respect you, I value you, even as you struggle to make mistakes, because we gonna fuck up.
Yeah.
Like with the Will Jada shit, everybody's on Jada neck. Give it a second. Will gonna say something stupid.
But that's exactly what happens though. Like you're saying, like I've had that kind of love from my mom, like until she got dementia. So I've always had that kind of love from her. So that kept me grounded. I think that's one of the things. Maybe we should ask some of the people that we know, you know, and where we vibe at, you know, like if they, you know, have that kind of issue. Because the first person I think about is it's a guy that I know. We call him Cash. You know, it's a guy we know, or I know rather. And I just think about the fact that everybody talks about him so bad, that people that kind of know a little bit about him and stuff. So I just think I'm like, I wonder what kind of experience he had, you know, in his life, you know, coming up and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm
like, because I know, like, I don't get looked at that way. People somewhat trust me, you know what I mean? I get a lot of the I give people good vibes. I say that. But I know, you know, some of the people that are like that, and I wonder, like, what does it have to do with their upbringing, their just their life experiences alone, or is it like all a combination? What caused these things and these people to behave the way they behave? Because they get a little, you know, out of pocket and say wild, crazy stuff to people sometimes. I just wonder, like, what made you like this? Like,
because there's no accountability, right?
Like, how can you not realize, like, you saying something crazy right now to somebody?
To me,
Shay got something to say.
Yeah, like, one thing that I've realized, actually, since I've turned 40, right, is that everybody has their own journey. They have their own experiences. They have whatever triggers, trauma, damage that happened to make them whoever they are. And I used to actually in debates get angry because I would be like, how could you not see? How could you not see it? Like, I'm like, this makes so much sense to me. Like, it's clear. And then I realized that wasn't their journey. That wasn't their path. They didn't have the same experience that I had. And when you take the emotion out of it and just realize that that's just a product of whatever environment, whatever experiences they had, it makes it for me a little easier to understand and to give grace and to try to understand and to try to share whatever experiences I have, not even to try to change your mind, because technically I've learned a lot just listening. Even if I don't agree, I can learn, and it gives me another perspective. It gives me something else to add to my belt of knowledge of, but I know some people who think this way, and it kind of helps. So
let me ask. I want to make sure we get the question answered too. So this is all good stuff. Just by the way, I'm going to have a lot of fun editing this. So Shay, what would you do? What kind of, if there are top 3 things that you can do to not either be part of the problem or to work on being, you know, more of a providing more of a solution?
I think reaching back, right? So I'm big on reaching back and pulling others.
You are.
And just sharing my experience or helping in whatever way that I can. So I think it's important to not forget about people. And I think we give so much of our attention to the headlines. I think just taking a step back and realizing they're just people with a lot of money, but they're just people. And we focus so much on them and we write about them and we have conversations about them. I think me recentering my conversations around my community versus a couple that's having marital issues would be something that I would do. It wouldn't be and it's small things. Like, everybody can't be a Tamika Mallory. Everybody can't be someone or an activist. Everybody can't go out there and do, you know, protests or be in the office. But you can do small things. You can make changes, you know, in your daily lives that help your community to grow. So that would be 2. 3, honestly, I'm going to say, you know, similar to Alex, my daughter, like, she graduates from Georgia Southern in May, and I'm super, super proud of her. And, you know, just making sure that I'm setting her up for the best future that I can, and letting her know that she can do anything. Like, whatever you want to do, you can do. And your mama is going to be right there behind you, cheering you on, you know? So just make sure that my seed, like my generation, my lineage is good, it's fruitful, it's contributing in a good way. That's important, and that's my 3rd, I think.
Okay, I'd love to. This is all good stuff. Trey.
Just, you know, same thing basically. Like what I think about is what I can control. You know, I can't control everything that goes on. I can only handle what I can control. Kind of like what Alex was you know, moving towards. Like, you gotta make sure you're good first. Once you're good, then your reach expands. Then you can make sure, you know, the people around you are good, like the people in your immediate family. And then, you know, once they're good, then your reach can expand a little more. Like, it just builds, you know, it builds on itself. But first thing is like, like I said, is you, your kids, your people you can actually, influence, and then, if you can go any further than that, I mean, I feel like living by what you say, because you can do all this talking, like we were talking about earlier, you can do all the talking you want to do, but if nobody sees you doing anything, like I like watching this guy, his IG is New Emerging King, I think is what it is. I think that's what it is. But it's a young black man that's just took it upon himself to just get the boys in the area around him and just start teaching them stuff. And he went from that to building a school and curriculum, all this different stuff now. And he's reaching out for help, when he needs to for things, but he's not dependent on people. He's just going out. He's not waiting on people. He's just stepping up and doing it. And I think, you can get to that point, but you gotta work on what's in your home and what's in your reach first. Because if that's just like somebody trying to build a foundation in let's say in school, like in education or whatever, like math. Let's just say math. If you don't have that foundation built, addition, multiplication, subtraction, all the fractions, if you don't have all of that stuff, like
damn ruler.
Right. Once you get to high school, it's a wrap. And then once you get to college, if you get to college, it's definitely a wrap. So you gotta have a foundation. You gotta have a strong foundation. But yeah, that's about what I feel about it.
Yeah.
But everything else that everybody said was like spot on. Like it just all meshed. And it's
piggyback on what Shay was saying on some real shit. It takes a minute, but money only solves money problems.
Yeah.
Once you open up your mind to that, it becomes a whole nother thing, like a whole nother understanding of how to set up your priorities. And then what Train was saying, like it really does become about living it. Because like the one thing I hate seeing, and Lord knows, like everybody hates to see somebody stay on their shit, but like they love to see somebody fall. Yeah. I hate seeing community leaders be exposed because they were living a life that wasn't really their life.
Yeah.
So it's like you really got to take that accountability, that self-check, like check yourself before you wreck yourself. I think I just dated myself even more. Like I got to carve it.
You are 38. You cannot date yourself. Stop.
Yeah, you can't really.
I'm sorry. You cannot. You do not get that privilege.
I'm right now. At this point, I'm just surprised you know some things. Now, like, oh, okay, you know that. Okay.
You just have an old soul. That's all.
Nah, I promise you, I've learned as much as I've learned, or I've got as much wisdom because I fuck up all the time. That's what I've made every mistake, and I mean the hard way. Like, hey, don't do that. Sure, I'll give it a shot, because it took me 25 years to learn that I am the rule and not the exception. And now I'm around telling my friends that, like, hey, look, if you want to be a millionaire, if them cats work 45 hours a week, I bet you probably gonna have to work 45 hours a week. It just is what it is. Yeah. You want to get into certain circles, you got to do certain things. You got to grow yourself. You got to groom yourself. And once, I don't remember who taught me, but once I learned, hey, Alex, you're probably the rule and not the exception. And then I'm good. I'm great. I'm outstanding, but I'm not good enough to show up at anything less than 100%. So like, I might be nice, but I ain't so nice. I ain't them behind the back Floyd Mayweather shoulder rolling. Nah, you get your ass knocked out. But have a plan when you come in this thing, because life ain't gonna stop swinging.
Nah.
So you gotta show up every day.
Nah.
Yeah, every day, even when you do not want to. I know we are at overtime. Are we good on time? Are we tired? I know I said an hour, but this is kind of going good. Can we go a few more minutes?
Let's do it.
I want to play my this or that game. I just
come with it.
Trey knows how much I like this game.
It's about the game. You guys thought about the conversation. It's not about that.
I do love this game.
You guys are uplifting the Black community and
we are.
Fuck that shit too. What about this game though?
We'll get to them. Those problems aren't going anywhere.
Black has been whacked since the 90s.
That's right.
Play this game.
We need to play this thing. See, already we're the problem. We're the distraction, right?
I'm good for it.
You know what? This is all really good, and I will just echo every sentiment that all three of you have said, because I've been I don't know if you see me kind of darting off, but I'm taking notes, and just everything that everybody said, especially about accountability. Shay's comments about the doing it hard, and if the journey is hard, maybe it's supposed to be hard, and it's not supposed to look like everybody else's journey. Where we live in a culture where everybody is trying to emulate who they see, when all that they see are lies, which is what I don't understand. When people, whenever I don't get into arguments online, because it's difficult to argue with somebody, and I'll just toot my own horn, with somebody who is as cognitively proficient as I am when it comes to certain visceral things. You see that? You see how I did that? I spun that, right? It's hard to argue with somebody who is looking at something from a very from 360 to 360 feet. So it's difficult. I'm never just looking at a situation, and I think that's one of the biggest problems that everybody can do. And Shay alluded to this. You can stop just looking at the headlines. Whenever I have like deep conversations online, I always preface it by saying I got time today. Simply because I have time today. But I'm always very conscious. One of the things that makes me conscious is that Donna James, she was one of the executives at Nationwide Insurance when I used to work there. And she gave me the best advice that I had hanging on my wall. I had made a little plaque, and I had hanging on my wall for years. You got to operate like people are always watching. You need to move like you're the CEO. You need to move like you already have the $1 million. You need to move. And this was before manifestation and all of this conversation and all of these kind of nuanced theories about how to, get wealth and get success had come out, right? She was just a beautiful Black woman who was in a very high powered position, who just gave me some really life advices, which is what she gave, is that you need to walk like you're already in your next position. And ever since she told me that over 20 years ago, I have walked like that. I'm always thinking about, what does tomorrow look like? Not living for tomorrow, but should I make it? Good Lord willing and the creek don't rise, right? Should I make it? I want to know that my tomorrow is different than my today. And I always say, and I make it my business to hopefully leave people off better after they've met me. Like, that's my goal. So I say all that to say that's one of the things I think people can concentrate on, right? How do people experience you? My next relationship, I'm divorced twice. I never experienced my spouses, not before we got married. And I need to know now how other people experience you, and not just your friends, but your mother and your brothers and the people at the gas station and people in restaurants. If you're mean to me, if you're mean to people you feel are in subservient positions, then I don't want to have anything to do with you. Because at the bare minimum, if you can't do anything else, you can be kind. So one of the things that I tell everybody that I have the pleasure of meeting is that at the end of the day, if you can't do anything else, be kind. And kindness takes a sort of self-awareness that a lot of people just don't have. I deal with it every day in my job, that they are not self-aware. People aren't self-aware at all. And their responses and their reactions to things is predicated upon the people around them, how other people respond to them. So they allow other people to hold their emotions, essentially. When you get angry, and when I mentor women, I have this conversation, especially when it comes to spouses. And I'm always telling one of my mentees is that if you're still angry about what he did 6 years ago, you're not over it. Because let me tell you what getting over it looks like. Getting over it looks like, oh, he called. You still calling him a nigga and a mother effer and all of these hateful things. Any emotion that you muster up for somebody that has done you harm means that it's still bothering you. One of the things I pride myself, and I have to say pride because it's very intentional for me to do this, is to never utter a bad word about my ex-husband, either one of them. The first one, God rest his soul. Never utter a bad word. I will only speak my truth, but it won't be without accepting accountability for what I did in the confines of those relationships. So I'm not just gonna say, oh, he ain't shit, he terrible, he did this, he did that, without saying, okay, Tashana, while you don't excuse the behavior, what did you have to do with that situation? And I'm able to, through therapy and just a lot of prayer and a lot of supplication and just really trying to figure out how not to get in certain situations again, I had to be honest with myself to say, no, that's you. You might be the problem. I had this conversation with my therapist today. I think I might be the red flag in some situations. I pointed out. I even write about it. I'm like, hey, I don't know. I think it's me. At this point, I'm pretty sure it's me. So self-awareness is something that people lack in this kind of social media environment, and it's damaging. It's sending us in different directions. So being aware of what it is you say when nobody else is watching, I think is one of the biggest ways you can change your environment. Because think about if we all stop buying gas, if all the Black people in the world stop buying gas for one day, this economy would shut down. Or think about, we're talking about the world. If every Black person in the world, every person of color in the world stop, not just buying gas, just one thing. We stop going to the store.
Yeah.
In our
I think
country
the
alone.
GDP of the African Americans in our country alone it would be the same as the number 17 country in the world. But they know that we don't move in one direction at one time. And they not only they know it, but they plan for it. They plot for it. They got the little Samuel L. Jacksons and Django littered all throughout your office place, through your schools, through your
everywhere
classrooms, whatever it is.
I worked for a publishing company, and we published higher education textbooks. And I had a very come to Jesus meeting with one of our chief executive officers who was over the publishing division. And I asked very poignantly, where are all the Black editors? Where are all the Black textbook writers? And she, just very matter of factly, and I love her for this, she very matter of factly said to me, I don't know. I wish that we, when we went on these campuses, because doctors write textbooks for the most part. Doctors and people have certifications and have done the research and things like that. But there's just such a crazy low percentage of African Americans who have risen to that level, that collegiate level of doctor, or done the research and things like that. And it was heartbreaking because everything is about what we see. Everything, people navigate their behaviors off of the movies that they watch. This is kind of a full circle conversation, right? We were talking about horror movies, and without even realizing it, thank you, Train, I appreciate you for pivoting quickly. But without even realizing it, I was thinking, wait a minute, this shaped how I experience movies now at 51. All those years ago, I was probably much younger than 8, or I was very young. I was in the single digits, I'm sure. But that back then was laid a foundation for how I experience movies now, because I love movies. I love them. I can talk about movies all day. But it's just Yeah, and see, we're back to me being OEPT. This is when Train and I forget what we were saying. And so we have OEPT moments, which are old experienced people talking moments. And I forget what I say mid-sentence, but that's fine. Anybody have anything to add, or this was
Well, I
all
was
good
going to
stuff?
say, to jump onto what you were saying, like, not only did the scary movies tie in, but it's one of those things where, like, very intentionally, whether it be in the workspace, as far as you don't want to see, or you can't see yourself writing textbooks. Like, there's always been an understanding of, like, if you want to be something, you have to see it. That's why representation is such a loudly banged drum this day and age. But, like, to speak to what we were talking about much earlier in the conversation, one of the things that, like, is so frustrating in being alive in this generation, in the position where you're supposed to be impactful, is everyone's saying different stuff, but the people who have the dumbest opinions have the loudest microphones.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know how that makes folks feel. And honestly, I can't wait to be old.
It's intentional though. Like it's all systematic. It's all part of what they're doing on purpose. I mean, they put the worst
Is that part on
representation.
purpose, though? Is that part when there are too many opinions? Is that part on purpose? I think that's
yes.
I mean, I get it, but is that part when everybody has an opinion these days? Like
yes. That's the reason why it's intentional is because what most people do when they're frustrated is they give up. So if you got a majority of folks who feel like, for example, Sexy Red or Cardi B should not be our White House correspondents, right? And I'm not trying to knock anybody's hustle. Live your life. But that should not represent what a majority of us think like, sound like, believe, or like pursue.
Yeah.
However, if we make this person your representation, half y'all gonna give up just out of sheer frustration, and the other half of y'all are conditioned to laugh about this shit that you should be taking very seriously. You should be outraged, but you're laughing out loud.
Right.
Because like we've made it really normal just to change your status. Get on Twitter, get on Instagram, get on TikTok, and just say you mad, and that's enough. Don't do nothing. Just say how mad you are.
I'm gonna tell you another time that happened when everybody was laughing and acting like everything was cool, and now it's affecting us today. When this goes back to something we talked about a long time ago, Shana. I mean, Steven. This goes back way back then. When these kids were out here, but like this was after me and Wild out of the house. This was after the welfare thing. You know, welfare kind of took over the house as the man. And then it got to the point where women were making all their own decisions. And they were kind of happy with their little son in the front yard twerking. Like, oh, that was all funny and shit back in the day when we were young. Yep. I know a lot of us didn't remember that. Like, we remember seeing, we might have known the person and everything. We saw the little kid out here twerking, little boy out here twerking. Now women are outraged that men are trying to say that women don't own administration. Women don't own all these different things. I'm like,
a whole nother 5-hour long conversation.
Right. Me with good sense. I'm sitting there like, who else own it?
Look, but who said something about it? I think a woman eventually said something about it.
Just hilarious.
And
just hilarious, yeah.
Sincerely, this is one thing not only do I applaud her, right? But one thing that like I would love, like folks who are funny are usually smart as hell.
Yeah, they are.
Right? Because like the degree of intelligence it takes to understand how to identify and communicate something and still touch that funny bone is real. And what she said, at least for me, in my opinion, because the conversation, especially as a man, has gotten to a space to where as a man, you get scared to say shit as a man.
Yeah.
Where you can't even say shit. I can't tell a man that, look, man, bro, I don't care if you wear dresses. I don't care if you cut it off, tuck it in. It's not my fucking business, right?
Not mine, right.
However, I respect women for what they are and who they are. And every woman is a person. Every person is different. However, there are skills that I know that women may have that I will never be able to scratch the surface of. And I respect it because although we're different, we're equals, right? I don't care if it's an assist or a point. We both win. We're on the same fucking team. And they get us so frazzled up that you forget that part. So it's like, hey, I know women who want to express their masculine. I know men who want to live in their feminine. Just be your fucking self. And quit trying to prescribe to like one of these roles that they're trying to get you in to distract you from the real shit that's happening. Like I don't want to sound like I'm on some Huey Freeman Boondock shit, but like for real, like, it's so not woke.
No, this is not woke.
But the reason why they push those conversations to the front is because like they know that folks like us are gonna get so frustrated. It's like shit. I'm gonna stop talking about it altogether because I'm definitely part of the eye rolling crew where it's like, oh, this shit.
Yeah. It's exhausting. It's mentally exhausting, and especially if you're at a certain level, right? If you're, we all work, train. We ain't talking about him because he's retired and all. Not him. He plays all day.
Definitely not retired.
He plays all day. But when you're so exhausted with what the world has offered you, it's so hard. And this is one of my challenges with doing whatever I can do. It's so hard to even engage and try to be that voice. That kind of that voice that deviates from the norm to say, okay, I see what y'all saying, but did you even think about this? Did you think about maybe this wasn't the and I will have those conversations. Like if I have a minute, like, cause it's kind of how I wind down. I have those, I say those things. I make those posts and those comments on Twitter and TikTok and Instagram and not Twitter. I hate Twitter. I don't do that anymore. But I make those comments, did you think about this? Because I'm always conscious of, I don't want my words to come back to bite me. So I'm very honest about what I put out there, because anything I say to anybody, and my friends will tell you this 150% about me. If I'm telling you, I ain't got no problem saying it to anybody else. So nothing for me is, if I talk about you and I tell somebody else what I said about you, you can bet your bottom dollar I don't have no problem saying, yeah, I said it. I most certainly did, because I don't apologize for things that come out of my mouth. Now, I might apologize to you for how you took it, but I am going to say what I want to say because I'm grown, and what I said has value to what we were discussing. So if you want to talk about that, we can talk about it. But don't ever approach me as if I'm going to pretend like I didn't say something. Shay?
I think like the whole dynamic of that conversation that Train brought up, it's so difficult because of the cancel me culture. Like if you say something, then you're canceled, or, it comes back to bite you, and the community is outraged and they come for your job. It's a whole thing, right?
Right.
But it becomes, it's at a point to where, well, what about my feelings? Like, what about if I'm offended? What about if that's not what I subscribe to? What happens to my rights on determining what it is that I want to speak about or engage in or be around or see? Like, there is no balance right now. So it makes it a difficult conversation to have. And then also, separate, I also think that it's an attack on, especially with Black men, I just feel like it's an attack on the masculinity of a Black man.
Yeah.
And it's very disturbing to see, because it's so readily accepted. It's, people receive it, and it's just sad to see, because I love Black men. I love the power and
Aren't they great?
In them. And I feel safe.
Y'all are awesome.
Why Trey start laughing immediately? It's us. Get our flowers, bro. Get your flowers.
Yeah, because she already knows. Black men are awesome.
They are.
Y'all are great.
Be portrayed in a way that's not how I see them. It's bad.
Yeah.
But it's been decades. It's been decades. The intentionality of the attacks, whether it be the crack epidemics, the social welfare, attacks, the social media. Like when I was going through undergrad, my senior year, last semester, I took a Black women's studies course. Right. Scariest shit I've ever seen. Scariest and stupidest shit. I want to talk about a scary movie, right? I was that shit twice a week.
A bunch of Black female lesbian feminists.
Not only was I the only Black male in there, I was one of 3 men, only Black man there, and only straight man there. And the instructor had a double doctor's degree, sharp as a whip. I wanted no smoke with this woman, none at all. But there were things that I learned through that experience that made it super clear that, like, some parts of our struggle as a Black man, like, they're never going to be, I don't want to say never, because that's really hopeless, but like, they're not likely to be heard when you need to hear them. So you have to find some self-soothing mechanisms like therapy and prayer. But at the same time, you can't blame folks, you can't fault folks for not knowing what they don't know. Because like the same way that we're intentionally under attack, the attack isn't just on Black men, it's on the Black family, including the Black woman.
Yeah.
Right. It's intended to put both of us very much
including the children.
The children was
everything.
The children were the target the whole time. They were trying to get the kids, because if they can get to that generation, the power. They were thinking, man, we're going to be here. My legacy is secured because I fucked your mom and dad up so bad that the grandkids, their kids, will be fucked. Right. Yeah. But like, it's one thing to be able to identify the problem. It's a whole other thing to be able to solve the issue. And I think I've been having these conversations very intentionally this year.
Yeah. It's
so hard because you have to meet people where they are, and a lot of people are not at a space to where they care more about the solution than they do about the apology or the accountability. And when it's one of those things where like both sides have valid points, then eventually it has to be like, hey, you know what, fuck it, let's just fix it. Because you know what would really piss them off is we just fix it. We win. When we start winning, when they see, oh, cool, Black fathers aren't active. No, generationally we're the most active. Black women aren't this. No, they're the smartest. They're the most advanced. They're the most accomplished. They're the most achieved, and they're selecting Black men. It's going to sound how it sounds. I hate when we're not together, because when we're together, the vibe sets everything for everyone. We are the culture setters, no matter what culture you're looking at. I don't care what generation. I don't care what continent. Yeah. I pick Black every time. My girl makes fun of me because I'm Panamanian, so like I'm Afro-Latino, but I still pick Black every time.
Yeah, I always go Black.
You know, Black beans and yellow rice. I'm still picking Black every time. It's a vibe. Yeah, it's a vibe because, like, man,
all the same anyway. I mean, honestly.
Well, no, absolutely. When I work with someone, and this is a whole other thing, but I work with someone who's from Egypt, and she doesn't identify as African. And a little bit of me on the inside, be like, man,
a lot of them like that.
What?
They are like, but and it's not even on some hating shit.
They actually call Egypt Middle East. Like, it's not. They don't consider that as part of Africa most of the time.
But you're like, here's a map. Where is it?
Right.
Not Middle East.
Not just that, but like,
I ain't the smartest apple in the bunch, but don't look like the Middle East to me.
I say that because like they try to they do it to separate us, because like at the end of the day, and I've learned this, I've had to learn this stuff in the last 5-6 years. When you let people tell you who you are, What they have set for you is so different than what you were intended to do. And the world needs us to be who we were called to be so bad. And sometimes the world for me is my son. And if I do what I'm supposed to do, that dude's going to change the world. And if we all operate in that understanding and belief.
It only takes one.
I mean, everyone, look, it's one of those things where, like, legit, if you think about it that way, if everyone just does one, just the one. Hey, if I can just be a better person one day this week, every day though, right?
Every day.
I don't know where I read it, but somebody talking about like being an alcoholic and recovering from alcoholism, and they asked their pops, like, hey man, you recovered from alcoholism, it's been 20 years, how'd you do it? And he says, I just quit every day.
Every single day.
I don't think about quitting for years at a time. I don't think about fixing the problem all at once. I just think about, hey, if I get engaged into a conversation with the missus, and I know part of it, the accountability we talk about, part of it is me being a red flag and being like, shit, I just listened to City Girls on the radio against my will, and now you ask me about your nails. Fuck this, I'm out. I could do that. Or I can identify.
Trigger, this is too much for me. Yeah, I'm definitely that red flag. I'm out very quickly.
Right.
Yeah, somebody asked me how much I pay for, well, they said something about me paying for coffee every day. And I said, what? Yeah, don't ever ask me, don't ever check my pockets.
I feel you. But without being too personal, I will say this. This young lady has taught me something that I'm learning to apply to every area of my life. It doesn't have to be important for me to love and respect you enough as a human being to acknowledge that it's important to you and to give you value through that acknowledgement, right? So if I was gonna spend that $100 on 3 Chick-fil-A meals anyway, you can have $100 because I love you and I respect you that much. Your nails look great. I'm be honest with you, I don't know the difference. I didn't even look down, right? I'm just glad that you're holding my hand. But if it means something to you, it should mean something. Just on the love and respect of the humanity level of it. Yeah. But at the same time, you also have to be able to love and respect people enough to tell them, hey, this is dumb. Yeah. Like, hey, you want to identify as a stapler? That's stupid. I think that's a dumb idea.
You have to be that person. You have to be a person that somebody is willing to listen to and be changed by.
The only way to do that is
that's what I pride myself on. Right? Go ahead.
I think that the only way you can do that is by being unshakable, right? Yeah. So like and people love me. People who meet me, and you obviously, right? I tell people all the time, I'm polarizing. If you love me, give me a second. You hate me, give me a second, right? Because I promise you, I'm going to be me because that's the only shit I know how to do.
Yeah.
So it's like, as long as you're that way, eventually what I've learned and I've grown to kind of like look forward to is you'll get back around and you will respect me. Because regardless of whatever it was, you'll learn. I never hated on your success. I never plotted. I never wanted to see you do anything but win. But you wanted to identify as a stapler, and that's stupid. It's just dumb, right? You wanted to do this when, like, since I'm not in the thick of it with you, I can see some of what Shay was saying earlier about some of the struggles with interpersonal growth. Yeah. Since I'm not in the weeds with you, I can tell you, oh, don't do that. That's dumb. I did that. Shit, I've already passed that level. Stop doing that. That's stupid, right? And so from a place of love, right? But if it's from a place of love, but your ears aren't yet tuned to the frequency of what love. If I'm speaking to you lovingly, but you've never been loved, it's going to sound foreign.
Yeah.
And since it's foreign, you definitely don't know how to identify that as love. So it must be what you already do know, and that's hate, right? Yeah. Because the reason why we do these things, we condition ourselves to these things because we have not yet learned to love the process, whether the process be growth or accountability or acknowledgement, whatever it is. We have to face it eventually. Even if you try today and you get it and you fail tomorrow, shit, you got to do it. Or you die and your tombstone's super short, and the attendance is even shorter.
I had a gentleman tell me that, and I was contemplating on whether or not to go back to college, and he said the simplest thing ever, and I don't even think he realized he changed my life. And she was a friend of my friends, and he was just talking about his kids, and he says, time is going to pass by anyway. Why not have it pass by with a degree or with right? It's going to go by anyway. So why not have it go by with that degree at the in your hand? And I think, and that's how I think about this podcast. And Train knows my vision at the end of all this. What my final goal is, what I am manifesting for myself before I turn 60, is I want to be on an island, drinking Mai Tais, patting pool boys on the ass. That's it. That's what and I'm not even
this is why he was doing the Tupac I Get Around. Okay, cool.
That is, and I am very serious. I'm not even.
Are you going to have a reserved account for the lawsuits that come from the patting?
Well, that's what I like to say. I've been in ER a long time, and I'm pretty sure that I don't, want to get in any real trouble. But I'm going to make so much money and be so established, and people are going to love me so much that a little pat on the ass of a pool boy every now and again, well, it'll boost his ego. How about that? We'll go there.
I just thought of at least 3 Donald Trump quotes.
No, I don't want to pat him on the. No, I ain't doing that. So let me backtrack that. Maybe not pat him on the ass. I want to become president one day. I want to become president one day, and this video pops up. I can't ever live it down. I'm gonna be like, I said that. That was my goal, but life took me in a different direction. But that is what I loved about it. And when I approached Train about doing this, because we had so many shared interests, and when I approached him about doing this was, I didn't want it to be divisive. And it's obviously not. That's why. But I do like that. We have a lot of different voices in the room, and I certainly didn't want it to be something of the same. Right. And I think we have all talked about some I'm engaged. Like as much as I've been talking all day and solving problems, and my job is so stressful. And this is what I love, right? I love that we are able to come together and have conversations and not be disagreeable, but even we can disagree, right? Even though it seems we all have some kind of like minds, but I love the disagreeing conversations without people being so disagreeable that they become defensive. And now you feel like, and that's usually what happens when we start having these us versus them conversations, whatever that looks like, male versus female, blah, blah, blah. I am really quick to acquiesce. Like if I don't, because I know how to win my arguments. So it's like, you know what, if this isn't something that's going to take us further, you got it.
Yeah.
2 + 2 is 6. Well, you know, you'll eventually come around to understanding that it's not. But what I'm not about to do is fight you over what I already know to be a fact. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to argue with you. Because I'm not seeking validation to be right. I don't need to be right. And I do think we need to do more of that as we go forward in trying to change the world. You know, one experienced person talking at a time. I like that I just came up with that, just by the way. I come up with some zingers. I don't, she'll tell y'all, I'll write things down and I'll be, I'm like, wait a minute. Write this down. I got,
You got bars.
I got him and didn't even know it. Right. But I love the fact that we are just gathered here. And I know it's getting late. And again, Trina and I will tell you that we can talk all for hours. I don't want to do that to you guys. But I do want to play a game or this or that. Are we good? Can we do that?
Yeah.
Can we do that? Can we forget the heavy stuff?
Here we go. Yeah, I'm sorry. I want to start by saying I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. So what's the I mean, I had some. Does anybody have any in mind? That because we know how to play this game, right? You give just 2 opposing things or 2 like things even, and you can't think about it. You just have to pick it. And there's no right or wrong. It's just a kind of get to know you game. It's like an icebreaker type situation. I've actually played this in a very professional way, and I used to be a facilitator. So I used to play this before I started my courses, my classes. So it can be raunchy, but we'll keep it clean.
Keep it classy.
Keep it classy. We will keep it classy. So I can go first. I can go first. And while I'm going, I'll do 5, right? I'll do 5. Well, can we each do 5? Can you kind of come up with 5 kind of, and so I'll play the first round. I'll say the first round. And then as I'm talking, you can say, oh, okay, I'll get, because this is also a brainstorming exercise because it really does help. It's a cognitive exercise. And this is actually scientifically proven. Don't ask me what the science is and don't ask me to quote it. I just know that I have read it in one of my many over 10,000 books that there's some science behind these kind of subconscious responses to what we like and what we maybe don't prefer, right? So think about that as I am going through my 5, and hopefully we'll get a little bit more creative. Are we all on the same page? We know how to play. I'll give you 2 opposing things and you just immediately, you can't think about it, no context, none of that. You just immediately say what you will or won't do. No judgment. No judgment. All right, we good?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me come up with one more, something silly. Okay.
All right, you're laughing at it before you say it.
Oh, I know.
That is so awesome.
I need you to understand that I'm the person that they write the memes about who goes and likes their own post and laughs at their own. I do. I love some of the things I read and that I've posted in the past. I'm like, that's some clever shit. You are really smart, girl.
I do it for myself.
And I laugh at my own jokes. So because, why not? All right. Are we good? Do we all understand the instructions? We got it. Everybody will have their 5 when I'm finished my 5. And come on now.
I'll be last.
Okay, your train's going last. You gotta think about it. He wants it to be perfect. As always.
Ours.
Everything has to be perfect. So let him come up with his 5 perfect ones. And so what you want to go next, Jay, after me?
Maybe.
Okay, Alex, you'll go next.
It's the enthusiasm for me. I like it.
Right. I love putting people on the spot, first of all. So we'll go me, Alex, Shay, Train. All right, we're all going to participate because we are trying to change the world one this or that game at a time. Okay.
Not one.
You don't ever know how you're going to touch somebody. Okay.
I know one game that definitely could change the world, at least at family reunions, and that's Uno.
Oh no, that'll have you killing somebody. I don't. Yeah. We want people to like each other at the end.
If not that, probably spades.
Uno or spades. Yeah, I don't know. And those house rules. All right, we ready? We ready? Rapid fire round. This shouldn't take 1 minute. All right, we ready?
Here we go.
All right, you can't think about it. Jada or Will?
Will.
Jada.
Will.
Cash or credit?
Cash.
Credit
all day.
Credit.
Fish or chicken?
Fish.
Chicken, definitely. Brown or black?
Brown.
Brown or black?
Black.
As fuck.
Black. You do know we're not technically black, right?
I get it, but on the inside though.
Well, that means you got a black heart.
No.
We're all
my pineal gland.
We're actually blue on the inside.
No. Remote control.
We're actually blue. The blood is blue before it hits oxygen and it turns red. So
I got a solid C in biology. I get it. Right here.
He said a solid C. Not an ambiguous C, but a solid one. Okay, you go next, Alex.
Oh, that was 5.
That was 5. Yeah, I told you. Rapid fire. It's not supposed to last a minute.
All right, here we go. Barack or Michelle?
Michelle.
Barack. No, I'm saying Michelle.
I'm starting to pick up a theme.
I'm gonna say Michelle. No, Michelle.
Okay. Michelle.
Okay. iPhone or Android?
Android.
TikTok or Instagram?
Instagram.
90s
babies or 80s babies?
80s babies.
80s babies.
I don't know what's going on with them 90s babies.
Lord.
I wish I got one.
Jay-Z or Beyonce?
Beyonce.
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
I don't know how many more I have.
That's 5, right? I think that's 5. Yeah, that's 5.
I've got more up the sleeve. I'm just this or that.
Oh, okay. You might want
I'm just
to.
trying
Jay, do you have any?
Listen, we're gonna try to figure it out.
Okay, let's go. Let's figure it out.
Hot or cold?
Hot.
Hot.
No, cold. I'm sorry, cold.
Hot.
Definitely cold.
Hot.
Cold.
All right. Ice cream or cake?
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Cake. My teeth. They
I'm
just went
like,
no.
oh my God. Yeah, whatever. But okay.
My teeth.
That's a cynical question.
That's a cynical question.
What if
This is
cake finds out
different.
what I said?
It's not supposed to be a thinking game.
What
You
if
can't
cake
judge.
finds out
No
what I
judgment.
said?
Let's
No
see.
Cake?
No judgment. Cake.
Let's Jill Scott or Erica Badu?
Jill
Oh,
Scott.
Jelly from
Jill
Philly.
Scott. Oh, that hurt.
Philly.
That hurt. Oh,
It's
that
hard.
hurt.
It's definitely
Oh,
hard.
I don't know why it hurt. Did you see what she did to Andre 3000?
Listen, you're not
You don't want
supposed to
to know
talk in this
I
game.
know, but
White people don't ever follow instructions.
She
That's
gave
why
us
we.
so much.
They
She
don't.
gave it just the video where she asked niggas just walking like she gave us so
I
much.
understand.
She
But you
gave
gotta
us-
pick Jill
Yeah.
because nobody picked her in that Tyler Perry movie.
She's
I ain't
very
about to look her over.
Yeah, I
She's
got
very
to pick Jill.
I ain't about to look her over. Jilly from Philly, get at your boy.
Yeah.
Y'all talk about aesthetics. We talking about. Never
I'm just
mind.
trying to make sure she ain't sitting
You
in
know,
the coach.
the
If I'm in
gender
first class,
design
she's
has
first
now
class.
been defined. Y'all talking about how they shaped and how they look because Erica
Oh,
was
no,
naked.
no, not-
And
No, we think about everything, but we
Yeah,
gonna
you
talk
think about that
one
first.
thing. Yeah, we're gonna talk about
Nah,
that.
nah.
okay.
We
All
think about
right.
everything though.
All right, Shay,
Always.
come on. They ain't following instructions. Let's go. What?
Hang on. Okay, I feel like that was 4, right?
That was 3.
That was 4, sure.
Was it 4? I can't. One more.
Halloween or Christmas?
Christmas. That was
In the name of
already-
Jesus.
Huh? What do you say? What'd you say, Alex?
I
What'd
ain't
you say,
hear
Alex?
it. I missed it too.
I missed it too. What'd you say? Only the young people got it. They had about some shit.
In the name of Jesus.
Okay, what'd you say, Alex?
He
Oh, I
said,
was saying in the name of Jesus.
Oh,
This is the easiest this or that.
oh,
In the history of this or that.
in the history.
Something about the name. I'd rather have
Amen.
Jesus.
You say.
Huh?
what did Train say?
Train hasn't gone yet. Oh, what did you say? Halloween or Christmas? Train.
Oh, Halloween and Christmas. Oh man,
You can't think about it. You got to pick it quick.
neither. Well, I don't celebrate either one. So
You got to pick one. It's not about
I say
celebrating.
Halloween. I say
You
Halloween.
got to pick one.
Halloween.
No judgment here.
Halloween.
Okay, Halloween. All right. Now it's your turn.
So I'm gonna do some little easy ones. God, you took a good one with the Android or iPhone. God, oh, that was a
Doesn't have
good
to
one.
be perfect, Train.
Oh, that was a good one though. That was a good one.
It was a good one.
Google
Anyway.
or Amazon? Is that the same thing?
No. Wait a minute, don't you think? Well, you know what? No, it doesn't. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be.
Right.
Amazon. Amazon.
So, planes or cars?
Cars.
Or
Cars.
Planes.
And take off all that planes.
Cars.
What about
Don't want to plummet to my death.
what about rich and famous or rich and unknown?
Rich and unknown.
I know.
Yeah. Super unknown.
Don't need it.
What was that? Z?
Completely unknown.
Unknown.
Definitely unknown. Ain't
Unknown.
nobody gonna know
Mm-mm.
until I pop up on the island somewhere. That girl done made it.
Some people want that celebrity. Some people want that celebrity.
No,
Nah. Mm-mm.
that's 2.
All right. What about driving or passenger?
Passenger.
I'm driving.
I'm driving, yo.
Yeah.
Passenger
Look,
all day.
if we gonna die, it's on me.
It's gonna be on
That
my
is what I'm
ride.
gonna be
I'll be
It's gonna be
goddamn.
on my ride.
That's you.
Don't let it
I'll
die.
be goddamn if I saw it
I'm
coming.
not either, but
I'm gonna raise my hand.
I'm in the car with you. I
When we
trust
stand up there for the
you.
car, everybody.
My girl be driving. I swear to God, be stepping on my little side of the thing. Ain't
Right.
got no
Oh,
of
yeah,
that.
y'all trying to say we
We
can't drive.
swear I wish I had one of them drivers in car.
2 hands on it.
I'm
Hold on. No,
a
mm-mm.
crazy driver.
Give
I
me
live in
keys.
Atlanta.
Let me
Hello,
have
I live
keys.
in Atlanta, and I drive like I'm batshit out of hell. That's fine. I'll take that.
Look,
What's that? 3?
Baby,
That's 3.
I'll get your door. Let me get your door. I got you. It's okay. You sit here.
All
Right, y'all can drive us around. I don't care about that. I might be the passenger.
No, I'll give you a damn piggyback ride if it'll keep me if we get there. Hell.
No problem. Yeah, that's
So
that's
what about
so 2 more.
day or night?
Nice.
You said night.
Day or
Night.
night?
I'm definitely
Yeah.
a night person.
Oh, dang.
You days? Yeah, I'm definitely a
getting
night
old.
person.
I'm night, man. I'm night.
I'm nice all day.
I'm like a vampire, yo.
What are you, Batman? Fuck that.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
up all
like a
day.
vampire.
Yeah, I'm nights all day.
Nights?
Yeah, it's hard for me to wake up in the morning, which is I'm thankful for my job because I make my own schedule. Because getting up early in the morning, that's just not my thing.
All right. So
Not
last
my
one.
thing.
Last one. It's gonna
Last
be if you get to go on, if you get some time off, it's gonna be a staycation or vacation?
Vacation.
Vacation.
What?
And this
Vacation.
Am I
Vacation.
a staycation, meaning you get off from work and you're just gonna be chilling at the crib and doing what you do freely, or you gonna fly off somewhere? Staycation or vacation?
Staycation. I'm real good for sitting in the house.
I ain't broke no more, so vacation all day.
Vacation.
So you said
I-
You said what say, Alex, I ain't broke no more. So
I ain't broke no more, so I'm trying to see shit. I want to see what this button do. I'm trying to go over there.
See,
Yeah,
that's what success does for you. You changes your whole purview at the end of the day.
Look,
yeah,
I'm telling you right now. There used to be staycations, so we didn't have a choice.
yeah.
I love my home. I love my house, and I just and I have so much peace here. And it's just whenever I leave, I want to come back.
I like staycations. I like staying at home, but I be want to see people. I want to see
Go
people now. Nowadays, I do. Like I didn't used to care about seeing people back in the day, but now I want to see people.
Because we're getting closer to death, and you want to make.
That's what it is.
You have to walk the dark real fast. Well, now.
Well, I'm just saying.
Hey, I
I think the older you get, the more you honestly do start thinking about not just your mortality, but the mortality of the people around you. Because what I notice is that the older I get, the more conversations older people like my mother and my family members have with me about people who passed on. And people like my son, who's 23, has experienced more death amongst his own peers in his 23 years than I ever have in my 51.
Yeah.
So I think when you get older, you do start, at least where I am, I start thinking more about family and like what I'm going to leave to your point, Alex, earlier about what you're going to leave your kids, and to what Shay was saying about what is my granddaughter, because I've got a granddaughter, what is my granddaughter going to see? And this is one of the reasons I want to do this for her too. When she gets old enough to find me on the internet and say, hey, that's my grandmama. And I want her to be proud. My son, God love him, I do. He's awesome, but he's 23. He's acting like a 23-year-old. And I just want to kind of gut punch him in the throat if that's possible. But he doesn't live with me. So yeah. In the throat. Yeah. Yeah, that means it's all over the place. Whatever that was. Did you say, Shay, what yours was? Staycation or vacation?
Did
she say Baco?
Yeah.
Well, this has been really good. I appreciate you, everyone. Train, thank you for jump-starting and pivoting. See, I ain't even had to use my little cards. I wanted to use my cards. Look, I want y'all to see all the time that I took writing these cards and all the things I have on them, and I did them, and I ain't even get to use them. But you know what? Next time, we will have.
It was out of your control.
Yeah, honestly, obviously, because you took over, so that's fine. though. It's cool. I'm okay with that because this went in a very good direction. Can we have some parting words from our guests? Jay, you want to have any parting last famous words that will live on long after we have?
You know what? I am just big on self-love and taking care of you and making sure that you're doing the absolute best for you, because we always show up for others. But show up for yourself and the absolute
for yourself. Yeah. Alex, last words.
Yeah. I would say two things. To speak to what Shay was just saying, two things that come to mind would have to be: make sure that you teach your kids the things you didn't know instead of giving them the things that you didn't have. The greatest form of self-love is self-discipline. And the last thing I would say is, do not just read the quote, read the book. Don't do nothing halfway.
You did 3 things.
That was good things come in threes all day.
Yeah, all that. Most certainly.
Yeah.
Train.
I'm just go back to one of my favorites. When I heard this, it just changed the way I thought about everything. Because it hit so many places. But it's how does it go? When you're born, you look like your parents. When you die, you look like your decisions.
Oh yeah. Most definitely.
That could be good, bad. That could be. I mean, there's so many ways you can look at that.
I've seen some rough 38s out there. Yeah.
Whoa. Me and my mother was literally just having that conversation. She's 70. She'll be 78 next month. And I said, Mommy, I've seen some 38-year-olds that you look better than. And which is sad. That's some really, really hard living.
They are weathered. They are living hard.
Is that what we're saying now? Weathered. They're weathered.
Weathered. They're stormproof out there. It's wild out there.
Yeah, that part. And so I will leave us off with my favorite 2 words that I say. Well, I'll have 2 things that I say oftentimes to the ladies that I am blessed to be in a part of their lives. Be kind. At the end of the day, you have as much control over how you treat other people as how you treat yourself. So if you're not kind to yourself, at least be kind to others. But always make sure you're kind to yourself first. And I actually forgot the second thing I was going to say. I told you.
That's the perfect quote. That's the best quote ever.
What's that?
I actually forgot the other.
I did.
That's because we old experienced people.
We are OEPT. Yeah, when we forget stuff, it's OEPT because
we know
we're not even playing.
We know shit, but we forget shit.
We be forgetting shit.
We be knowing.
We be
knowing
knowing
before we.
Yeah. We be knowing shit, but we definitely be forgetting shit.
We be forgetting shit. Yeah. So
That's
and that's
t-shirt
ours.
to be
And we
made.
coined it, and nobody else can have it because we are OEPT, and that's what we do. And I want to thank Shay. I want to thank Alex, and obviously, of course, Train. Thank you for being always who you are. We appreciate you. I appreciate you most definitely. And this has been awesome. We will have to do this again sometime soon. Stay on. Don't go anywhere. I want to thank you personally after we. So say bye. Sign off. Don't hang up. Don't hang up. I'll just end the recording.